Are you also having difficulty sticking to new habits that you know are good for you? Because I know I do. You hear that meditating is good for you because of X. You learn that getting morning sunlight is very well for you because of Y. You get told that exercise and eating well and nutrition is what is good for you because of Z. So my background on YouTube has been basically all about tech videos, but I did mention that when I started the channel, I wanted to branch out and do other things as well. So this is sort of an attempt to do that and show you what I've been tinkering with when it comes to AI and my life and health outside of what you've seen so far. Learning about things that are good for me and doing it for a little while and then forgetting why it's good for me and I fail to build a habit and then I don't stick with it. So that's basically this video. I wanted to achieve two things. I wanted to play around a little bit with AI and building my own GPT. I know there's enough AI videos on YouTube, but I figured I want to do what I want to do, what I find fun, and I will share my journey doing it. But I also wanted a way to reinforce my good habits, like I mentioned. Is there a way for me to improve that? So what I wanted to try and build basically was just a logbook, you could say, but using AI. There's a lot of science behind habit trackers and journaling, writing down things you've done, writing down how you feel, writing down what you did for that day so you can go back and kind of look at it. But this could be sort of the same thing, however, with a twist, where you would get instant feedback on what you are logging and why it's good. So my idea is that if you log a behavior often enough and you read about the positive effects of that certain behavior often enough, eventually you will start to remember that and you will learn why you're doing what you're doing. You will learn why it's good for you. And then hopefully in the future you will not even need to log it because you have logged it so many times already. You read about the positive effects so many times that I did this thing and I know exactly why it's good for me. And I don't know, maybe it's a stupid thing, but I myself feel a lot better when I know exactly why something is good for me when I do it. It's perhaps not the way that you work, but you could give it a try, and then if you feel like, yeah, this is not for me, then there's no obligation for you to use it, which is the good part of all of this. It's completely free and not mandatory. So yeah, what I built is basically this, and the description is a wellness journaling coach giving accessible and science-backed encouragement. And I think the key word here is encouragement because that's basically what my whole idea of this was: is you did something great for you, you did something great for your body or your mind, and then you could enter that as a log, and it'll tell you why it's good if you need to know that. And it could also give you some ideas and recommendations on how to maximize the effect should you want to. But yeah, this is basically called a GPT. So the working name right now is MomentumAI. I think it's kind of a bad name, but I can't, like, naming is extremely difficult. And yeah, if we go into edit this, I will zoom this a little bit. Then you can see the instructions here that this GPT acts as a personal reinforcement and wellness companion, helping users reflect on and log their positive life choices while offering grounded, science-based encouragement. Whenever a user records an action such as meditation, exercise, journaling, spending time in nature, breath work, or quality time with others, families and friends, for example, the GPT provides positive feedback and insights into the short and long-term benefits of this activity. It uses up-to-date research from experts and yada yada. You can pause and read more if you wish to. And kind of how I built it is that you would use a keyword called log start at the beginning of your day. Then you would track your activities, and then you would end your day with log end, and it could provide you with a recap. An extra boost before you head to bed, perhaps, on how well you did that day. And I just thought of this right now. I've only logged good things. I don't know what would happen if you were to log things that were bad for you, like maybe it's not a habit that would be good for you long term, but maybe it could tell you the effects of that certain habit, and maybe that would help you get motivated to quit doing that. Maybe if you're like smoking or I don't know what you're doing really over there, but that could be a test for the GPT. But yeah, like I mentioned, so at the end of the day, the GPT can summarize all record entries to highlight user progress, reinforcing habits and boosting self-awareness. I wanted it to be very grounded in science, and it's difficult with AI. Sometimes it makes stuff up or hallucinates, and so I've in the instructions I've given this, I've tried to make it so that it should deliver sources for whatever feedback it's giving you, but do double check the sources, because I've asked for sources of information before and I've gotten a link that has basically led to a 404 or like a website that doesn't exist, basically. Or it has linked me to a page where it says that it got the source from, and I'm looking up the information and I tell it I can't find it in the link you referenced me, and it'll say, oh, you're completely right, it's not in that link. And yeah, it's kind of funny that way. Yeah, but obviously this has gone through some iterations, but I wanted to show you some examples. So for example, I did a log start, so I started my day, and it tells me these are like recommendations of things that you could log, for example. And then here's an example. There's a little bit of personal information, but I'm okay to share. But I said I slept okay, not great, probably at the lower end of my required hours. I ate, and then I just summarized what I ate, and it gives me some feedback. So you mentioned you got slightly less than recommended, still okay, but not optimal. It just gave me some feedback about my sleep, which you could see right there, and then the breakfast. So the bulk of the message was around the breakfast, I guess. So that's what it was mostly giving me feedback on. Like I ate oatmeal, and it's a great source of beta-glucan fiber, and it supports gut health, helps stabilize blood sugar, and contributes to a lower cholesterol. And then it links to some sources which I could use. And here's a little bit funny. So I guess it's not this is not perfect. It's giving a source of Reddit, which I wouldn't typically use as a source for anything. Here is a link about peanut butter in oats and healthy fats and things of that nature. Then it's a little bit funny because it's talking about oatmeal, but here it gives me a source with talking about casein, which is a form of protein powder which I used in my morning breakfast. So it's not perfect. Like, you have to be a little bit alert when reading it, but this should hopefully be correct information. I had blueberries since it's rich in antioxidants, and that I know, and it supports brain health and mood by increasing blood flow to the emotion regulating areas, and not exactly sure what that means. But that's also a fun side use case I found for this, because in the beginning I had toned it down, but in the beginning it gave me a lot of information, and it was very dense information, and it's kind of hard to read. But there were several occasions where I logged a behavior and I looked at the feedback the AI gave me, and then I was like, not really sure what this means, but I will go ahead and Google that, and then I learned what that means. It's like a natural progression of learning. So it's kind of a nice use case. Here it gives me a summary of why it matters. So it says the combo of fiber, protein, casein, and fats, and antioxidants from the blueberries creates a balanced breakfast. It supports energy, satiety, cognitive performance, and mood. And then it gives me some suggestions. I could fine-tune my protein. So I guess its opinion was it was a lot of protein for one meal. I could add some toppings. So I could sprinkle some seeds over it or nuts and just get some different texture. Here I got a summary, which is nice. Here's another example where I said I just had 500 milliliters of water with 5 grams of Better You electrolyte powder. And here it's talking about enhanced hydration. Like, I've learned that it's not enough to only drink water. You have to also resupply your stores of salts in your body, like the sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. And these are things that I wasn't paying attention to before, but now I know. And that's also like what I mentioned. The next time I do this, I kind of already know the benefits because it's reinforced enough times in my head. So here's the last example where I was at the end of my day, and I told it to end the log, basically. And I get a recap. So I stacked deeply restorative, performance enhancing activities throughout the day. Thank you. It's talking about my nutrition. It picked out like what I ate for breakfast, the oats and stuff, and then for lunch I had chicken and potatoes with some béarnaise sauce and corn. The dinner was goulash, soup, and sourdough. We had some apples, and it's deep recovery fuel. I did some NSDR because of the lack of sleep I had. I was a little bit tired, and I find it helps It's like a nap, sort of, but you're not sleeping. It talked about my training, so I did a resistance workout, and I used high volume, and I trained to failure, and it was very hypertrophy oriented, which is true. I did long length partials and rows, which is just a technique you can use when you're working out. So basically, when you're doing the movement, when you're working out, when you no longer have sufficient strength to perform a full rep, you can do half reps until you can't even do a half rep. That's a way to get some extra bang for your buck. So I built muscle. I probably broke down muscle, but I will build muscle in the long term. I stimulated fat oxidation and enhanced recovery mechanisms. So that's some cumulative gains. I did a strength and HIIT workout and then some recovery. I guess that's some foam rolling I did. So hormonal balance, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it needs to explain to me why it put just hormonal balance there, or this is a work in progress, you can tell. I improved my sleep architecture. I think it meant to say that what I did during the day is going to promote better sleep the following night. Enhanced brain functions, so NSDR, the blueberries, structured recovery, and then flexibility. So I did strength, I did Tabata, like a high intensity workout, and then some diverse carb sources. And here's really cool then, because I get some suggestions for tomorrow. So it's telling me to hydrate well in the morning to flush training byproducts, which I always do anyways, and it's telling me to consider a low intensity movement session or mobility work to enhance recovery. I did not follow this advice. I work out 5 times a week, and it was the next workout the next day. So like you can tell, like you don't have to, it's just a fun tool, and you're not bound to follow any of its recommendations. You can just read them. If possible, add some natural light exposure early in the day, so this will anchor your circadian rhythm and deepen your next sleep cycle. And that's something I wish I did more often. I usually find that if I do get morning sunlight, I do sleep better. I'm more tired in the evening. You can probably tell that I do listen to some Huberman Lab podcasts. But you lay down a strong blueprint today and ready on building on it tomorrow. So yeah, it's basically the summary of the log. So this is basically how I built it. So I did have some notes for what I wanted to do, and these ones I wrote when I was on vacation. And I basically just went into ChatGPT and I created a new GPT, and then you can just give it instructions. So you don't have to configure it using their configuration wizard. You can just give it prompts to configure your GPT. And it's a little bit funny because I did say like the feedback on your actions should be taken from experts, and I gave a few examples. For example, Andrew Huberman and Rhonda Patrick. And you should be able to remove them or add other people if you wish to have other people giving you feedback, or if you just wanted to take from random. But I did notice that I've given this some prompts to configure it over time, and I think it's basically lost that information somewhere. So right now, I think if I search for like Huberman, oh, it's actually here. So it's using up-to-date research from expert sources like Andrew Huberman, Rhonda Patrick, and others to support its responses. And this is very biased then from like what I wanted to give feedback from. But let's say I wanted to make it more accessible or more configurable. The only thing I've done is I've gone to Skapa, which is Swedish for create. And then you can just prompt it here. So if you want to update it basically. So here, for example, we could write a message saying, I want the GPT to let the user know which experts and sources it's drawing its information from, and every now and then ask if it should include feedback from any other experts in the field, and the user can choose to add them. For example, I want you to include feedback from Lane Norton in your feedback as well. I guess we should say insights from Lane Norton in your feedback as well. And then you just submit the message. It's going to update the GPT. So here we have like basically a conversation to configure this. So it says I've updated MomentumAI to always indicate which expert source is referencing. That's perfect. And occasionally invite the user to add new voices like Lane Norton. Would you like it to prompt this more frequently or only once in a while? Only once in a while. Great. MomentumAI will now suggest adding new experts, only occasionally maintaining a balanced and non-intrusive tone. Let me know if you'd like to refine the frequency or phrasing later. And then if we go back to configure, we go in here. If I search for Lane Norton, it's going to be in here as well. And I'm planning on making this open source. I don't know if you could update it using only the link. Otherwise, I would like to create like a GitHub repository maybe where I will put the text and you can submit a pull request to update it, or if you just want to leave a comment or like suggestions and ideas, or if you just want to tell me that this is a super stupid idea, that's fine as well. But yeah, basically that's it for the video. And yeah, this is what happens when I am on vacation and I have too much free time and I start to think about things I want to do, and here's the result of that. But if, like I mentioned, I will create a GitHub repository and I will share this source code if you wish, and then you could help me update this. We could refine this together. Maybe this will be a community project between you and me. That would be super fun if we could do something like that. And also, this is not the type of video I've submitted so far to my channel, but in the future I would like to make more of these types of videos. I will continue to do technical videos as well, but I will try and dabble in all of it. Maybe a stupid idea, but I kind of want to do what I feel like doing, and I feel like that's the greatest thing for my channel. Otherwise, I may burn out. But anyways, I hope you have a great day. I will see you later. If you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe to the channel, and I will see you later. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.